Partnerships that work for our community. The United Way. I'm Lisa Oligas, and this is Newsmakers. In this edition, we discuss the mission of the United Way and the programs in place to help people achieve that mission of education, health, and financial stability, all considered the building blocks for a good quality of life. Joining us to share everything about the United Way are Interim Executive Director Amy Diarman, Michelle Lester, Director of the Care Partner Network, and Tammy Nishira, the Director of Community Impact. Ladies, thank you for being here on Newsmakers.
Thank you for having us.
So let's begin with education and literacy. You have distributed 32,583 books through your Little Blue Bookshelf project over the past 5 years. That is amazing. So tell us how that program works.
We love the Little Blue Bookshop, and first of all, I'm very pleased to say that's an outdated number.
Oh, okay.
This year alone, we have distributed another 12,000 books.
Wow, amazing.
We get donations from community members, so new or in most cases gently used books for all ages of youth. We have volunteers that come in, that sort them, that clean them, that organize them by what age group they go to. We set them up in boxes to go out to more than 30 bookshelves across Southwest Missouri and Southeast Kansas that we stock where kids are going to be at. So it might be at your pediatric office. It might be if you go to Economic Security, you'll find one there. So we stock those, and then this year we had a ton of donations. And books are only good if they're in the hands of someone that wants to read them. So we set up a pop-up shop at North Park Mall and have had 8 different giveaway days so far where families can come in and shop for their children, pick out like 3 to 5 books per kid, and then take them home and enjoy them. And it's just been a really big blessing for us to get to be a part of that and to see the light of learning to love to read come on it with those children as they're picking out books for themselves.
What kind of feedback do you get from parents who might be sitting there saying, hey, I couldn't afford to buy these books?
A lot of excitement. So each book includes a label that talks about how do you set a space for your child to read? How do I read with my child? So it gives them some tips that maybe they didn't have already. They get to have that fun of kind of shopping with their child for the book that would be interesting to both of them to go through together. And it's just a really wonderful time to see them kind of bonding as they talk through that process. And then we also have a lot of people that come in and say, will you take our books? And so we're getting a lot more donations from that visibility as well.
For sure. So, I mean, it is part of the building blocks of literacy. How do you hope this translates into education on the school level as well?
That's a great question. And we do have programs that can help navigate that transition of how do we get volunteers in with the school. And one of them is Give 5. I was going to let Michelle.
Oh, yes. So Give 5 is a program that the Area Agency on Aging puts together, and they have 6 different classes, if you will, a year. And what we do is we bring in retired, newly retired individuals, and we take them around to the community-based organizations. So we take them to Lafayette House, we take them to NALA, we take them to Community Clinic, all these different areas, and let them hear from the organization. They get to learn what the mission is. They get to see the facility, take a tour. They get to find out what types of volunteering they need so they know where they can partner up, and be happiest and best. And then they put them through that program. It's a super fun day. They feed them lunch and all that good stuff. And at the end of that, what they ask is that each one agrees to volunteer 5 hours a month at one of the places that we took them to.
And really, that's not a big allocation of time. I mean, some people might volunteer 5 hours in one day at a location. How do you see that as giving them another connection, maybe with an adult? Is that helpful, do you think, when they have?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the numbers are staggering in, our retired population, and the number one thing that they face that's detrimental to them is isolation. And if they're not out doing these things, it's very easy for them to get shut in, to stay in, really not to see anyone or go anywhere. You think maybe you're going to call mom once a week, and you think you're doing really good that you're calling her once a week. But if that's the only phone call that she gets for a week, and this puts them, my mom went through the class, and she loved hearing about each organization's mission, because then she could be on mission, with whatever place that she chose.
Yeah.
So,
and when it comes to a kid's level, is it nice for them to have another adult person in their life if they're working in the schools, possibly like doing a reading program or
Oh,
a lunch buddy?
absolutely. I mean, that's joyful for both parties, you know, for the retiree because they love kids and want to be in that environment and that's somewhere that they can help. But it's really that mentorship too, you know,
Yeah.
of doing that. And the kids think it's great, you know, they have a grandparent that can come and read to them or mentor.
And the
So some of the places, go ahead, Terry.
And the volunteer can also utilize their skill sets and training. And, you know, if they've worked for 30 plus years as an accountant, then maybe they can volunteer with the different tax services and different opportunities. Or if they have done that and think, okay, I don't want to have anything to do with taxes and accounting ever again, so let's completely switch our focus. So it really speaks to the volunteer as well. So it's really purpose-driven in that accord as well.
Yeah. So, Michelle, what you are in charge of the Care Partner Network. Let's delve into that. And I know it's more than just education, but tell us how groups connected to it can, you know, learn about some of the programs that you help fund in the education world, like Boys and Girls Club and NALA.
Yes, so the Care Partner Network is a community of over 100 different organizations that we bring together, and we all share a platform that we use, you know, a general platform, and that's called Unite Us. And we bring together the community-based organizations. So not everyone, but most of them, you know, are part of Unite Us and that program and that portal. And so what they can do with that portal is, let's say that somebody comes in, you know, to United Way and they need help with utilities. Then I can take their information, gather that in, hear their story one time, you know, put it in, and then I can send out a referral to Economic Security or whoever may be able to help with utilities at that time. And then that helps that client only have to tell the story once. They're not having to do it 9 or 10 times. We take the burden off of them. So, you know, I can say to them, somebody from Economic Security or wherever it may be will be reaching out to you.
Yeah. So, I mean, if it's a parent who says, hey, my child needs after school care, you could say, hey, Boys and Girls Club,
Right,
and then kind of connect them in that
yes,
way.
And I can do that referral there. And then in addition to that, what makes it magic is the people that are involved. So monthly, we have monthly meetings where we bring everybody who can join on the first Tuesday of the month, and we gather together, we talk about what's going on in the community, we talk about our wins, we talk about things that we may be facing. So right now, we're talking about warming centers, you know, and getting a list together that we share with everyone there, so they have that, and so we're keeping them updated. And it's a great way for them to communicate, because sometimes there are people that, you know, they're in communication by email or something like that, or they're referrals on a regular basis, but they don't get to see each other face to face. And there's just something about getting everybody together and that energy and feeding off of that.
You bet. And I'm sure it helps with reducing the duplication of certain services, at least, or to know if you need to duplicate services.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
So some of your organizations are located in Southwest Missouri, others in Southeast Kansas. What is it like when it comes to working together in that regard? And I know, let's talk about tutoring and mentoring programs. I mean, how many counties do you guys serve? How many families do you serve with all these organizations?
So for United Way, we actually represent predominantly Jasper County and Newton County in Missouri and Cherokee and Crawford in Kansas, but we do extend out into a lot of the other surrounding counties. So we have a pretty broad range of coverage. And then with the Care Partner Network, we're in 10 counties that also extend down into Northeast Oklahoma. So that network is broader even than the United Way's footprint, but we see the value that is added by having that connectivity for those organizations to be able to communicate and collaborate and work together to solve holistic needs of the broader area. As far as mentoring and tutoring, we have programs that do both. And for us, you know, the Big Brothers, Big Sisters, we have kids that come in that are assigned to someone that's going to walk alongside them for a prolonged period of time and really pour into their lives in a meaningful way. And that's not mutually exclusive to, they might also need tutoring in a specific subject. And we would, you know, work with Big Brothers, Boys and Girls Clubs, excuse me, the names are so similar.
Yeah.
we would work with Boys and Girls Clubs, or we work with NALA or others to really get targeted tutoring for what they need. So our programs really work together and flex into each other in a pretty meaningful way.
I'm sure there are some life challenges that affect education as well. We're going to be talking about some of those in our next segment and some of the obstacles. So we're going to take a break. And when we come back, we will look at the health pillar of the Care Partner Network, plus supports available to help people build financial stability. We'll be back.
The last several years have taught us all a lot, but most of all, that it takes united communities to drive for improved lives for some of our most vulnerable friends, families, and neighbors. Through our housing insecurity, critical medical needs, and United to Help Our Neighbors programs, we have strengthened families and drove change for hundreds of people looking to not only stabilize, but to thrive. Over the years, the most pressing needs have changed. But through good times and bad, United Way of Southwest Missouri and Southeast Kansas has always been there, mobilizing people and organizations across our communities, uniting their passion, expertise, and commitment to get things done. At United Way, we utilize new technology to connect people in need with the right resources the first time. No more sending families in crisis to multiple agencies only to get frustrated and give up. We strive for the absolute right referral the first time with much more efficiency.
Welcome back to Newsmakers, where we're visiting with the leadership of the United Way. In this segment, we will look at programs to help with health and financial stability. Welcome back, ladies. So we mentioned the Care Partner Network, which is huge, and a number of agencies that help with education. Even larger number help with health and well-being, such as YMCA, Salvation Army, and the community clinic. So your website mentions concerns about kids and obesity. How can you support them and help them with this issue? Tammy, weigh in on this for us.
So just a little bit of clarification. So we have our Care Partner Network, which we've discussed, which is a community of multiple partners. We have our funded partners through United Way, and then also we have other different kinds of partnerships and collaborations that we've built over time. So, but one example of partnership is with Community Clinic. So one thing that they do is they have cooking classes for youth and to help with establishing healthy habits. The YMCA has specific funded programs for specific habits to create exercise programming and to really integrate those healthy habits very early on. So those are just a few examples. We also collaborate with Freeman Health Residents, the residence program, with the physicians that are going to be practicing in this region, hopefully, or just passing through, but to be aware of different social welfare programming, such as the partners that we work with, and to really kind of focus on, from the very beginning, the importance of preventive care and the different community services that are available with that.
You bet. Your agency also works with domestic violence. Talk about the support for those kinds of groups and agencies and efforts to help curb that and help support the folks who might be dealing with that.
Yeah, so we support safe house shelters in both Missouri and Kansas, and that is to help people that are faced with domestic violence to get out, get help, get safe. So first and foremost, they get them to a place where they can be, and then they have case management that will help them navigate what does life look like now, and what steps do I need to take moving forward for myself, for my children, for other people that are maybe in this with me. We also fund legal aid, both in Kansas and Missouri, that will help navigate some of the legal complications that come along when you're in a situation like that. So we want to make sure that we're holistically helping someone to get out and be made whole in a way that they can navigate the rest of their lives.
Certainly. Let's talk about how those funds are distributed, because you're saying you're supporting different groups. How do you decide? I mean, tell us about, you have, I guess, a board. How do you determine which groups get what amount of funding each year, and do they have to apply for it?
This is a great question. So we do have a board. It is made up of community members across both Southeast Kansas and Southwest Missouri, and that board helps to set the strategy for the local needs. We look at the data. We say, what are the most prevalent things that are going on in our area, and are these the right pillars for us? So we look at healthy communities, youth opportunity, and financial stability as kind of the core things that we want to accomplish. And then in each of those spaces, what organizations are coming alongside of us with programs that have metrics attached to them. They're going to be successful, we can track how that works, and it's really meeting those needs in a way that's meaningful in the community. Once we look at that, those agencies write proposals based on specific programs. We have community investment panels. The board works with them on recommendations, and it has to eventually make decisions about what is the best utilization of those funds to hopefully maximize the outcome that happens locally.
Sure. Every year you have a major campaign. So let's talk about that. What is the window for it this year? What's your anticipated goal, or have you even set that yet?
We have, and Michelle is all things campaign.
Okay, Michelle.
Yes. We are currently in the middle of campaign. We typically close that out at the end of the year, like first part of January, but it's open all of the time, any time that anybody wants to give. But we focus in the last quarter of the year of really going out into businesses and doing employee payroll deducts and what they want to do, and a lot of times the company will match. So that's where a lot of our bread and butter really comes from. We had a goal last year that we met that was $315,000. We will be above that this year, where we end up. But the more money that we raise during campaign, the more we can fund the programs that are out there desperately needed.
Certainly. So staying with the money theme, it can be something as simple as losing a job that can maybe put people on a path to homelessness. So who are your partners in that area and working to bring financial stability? And I know we even talked with economic security about homelessness. Talk about that with us and some of your efforts there.
So one of our efforts internally is a program called the Critical Medical Needs Program, which is specific for utilities, utility assistance through the different utility companies, so Liberty, Spire, and Missouri American Water, based on tariff funding that they have, and we help to allocate those funds. So if somebody has a utility bill, they also have a certified critical medical needs. So an example is, somebody's being discharged from the hospital and they have diabetes and are on insulin. Going home to a home without electricity and refrigeration for their medicine is clearly going to be an additional barrier to their recovery process. So we work with those families doing pretty intensive case management and walking alongside them. So helping them to find help through economic security and applying for programs that they may qualify for. And every case is so unique and different. So referring to legal aid, referring to different child care services. So there's a lot of different aspects because it's never really clean and cut and dry. It's every individual is so complex and has so many different facets. So that's one of the programs that we work with. So that alone, like as far as the path to homelessness or being unhoused, having your utilities shut off is a big, kind of step in that. So helping to avoid that, so we can help advocate for a delay in shut-off notice from the utility companies, and so that's part of our work. And then also getting assistance through the different agencies and other, but also a hardship fund if needed, if that's part of the process. But that's one preventive thing that we can do for homelessness.
It's really critical that you really are on top of what all the other agencies are doing, because you're kind of like almost like a gatekeeper.
That's why we have the Care Partner Network, because we bring everybody together that we can all feed off of and help in different ways.
So you also work with several food pantries. Talk about, the relationships there and making sure that people are connected with those.
This has been a pretty big focus for us this year,
Has it?
especially with the shutdown and the impact on SNAP and all of that. So we brought several organizations to the table when we were dealing with that and talked about what do we do to make sure that we are taking care of our neighbors here and getting them food support that's necessary. So we have a few funded partners in Missouri and Kansas that we help with programs specifically for food resources. But we also see ourselves as filling that need of helping to identify other resources, even if it's not one of our funded programs, and how do we make sure that those pantries are able to be accessed by the people in need, how do we make sure that they're being supported by their community members as well? So if someone is in the position to donate, how do we make sure they know where to go in order to support that? So it's been a really busy couple of months for us as we navigated some of that. And I think we realized that that highlighted an emergent issue that is only growing as people are experiencing more food insecurity.
Yeah,
overall.
well, I mean, I know the backpack program with the school system is also a very big thing too. So obviously there is that continuing
Right.
need for food.
Right.
Let's talk about, you have a thing called Summit 2025. What is that, and is that something that's a recurring thing for the United Way?
Well, Summit 2025 has already happened.
Yes.
The Summit happens in May every year, the second Tuesday of May. And what we do is we bring together members of the Care Partner Network, and we put them all in a room together and let them collaborate and network. And we have, a keynote speaker that will talk about things that, people are trying to fix, and they're trying to come alongside people. So we're essentially caregivers and, helping those in the community. So we bring them together. We touch on all the hot topics that everybody's dealing with, like at the time, give them some resources and ideas. Maybe they're outside of the box. A perfect example is right now, as far as funding, we're going back to pre-COVID levels of funding. So, federal funding has said, like, okay, we've got to cut back. This was during COVID, we're past that, so we cut back. Well, now we're all having to get very creative in how we help people, because we don't have, tons sitting in the bank to do that with that funding. So we're having to look at other ways and help people really piece together how they can get help.
That might help transition us to Day of Action, which is a way for volunteers to kind of step in, whether they're businesses, partners, but also the community can help. So tell us about Day of Action and how that works to kind of support all those agencies that you work with.
Yes.
We're really excited about Day of Action this year. We will be announcing a date pretty quickly in January. We are looking for June this year. And the idea is that businesses, individuals, they can register online. They can register by calling us. And then we're going to get people out in force at our nonprofit organizations, at just places around the city that need volunteer support. And the idea is that it's a big day of caring. It's a big day of service. And how do we get people connected to those opportunities to be a part of building a better community together? So,
yeah, I mean, many hands make light work is sort of the saying. And I know I was part of a group once where we painted the Salvation Army cafeteria, and you would never have thought you could get that done in a day. And several walls were painted in a day with that many people working together.
Right.
So it can certainly make a difference to be part of that, even if it's a big job.
And it makes a big impact for the organization that you're helping, and also the volunteers that are part of it. Just as an example, my own daughter and her friend that are in high school helped during Day of Action this year, and with one of the local childcare, and it was a big experience that they will remember forever, and it kind of, I think, has shaped their mindset in terms of volunteerism and, even potential career direction as well.
Yeah, I mean, certainly for those agencies, saves money, saves time for the people that work there who might already volunteer. So thank you for all this great information. We appreciate you all being here.
thank you.
And we're going to take another quick break. When we come back, how the United Way is partnering with MSSU and the Cardinals Caravan. We'll be right back.
Lions Forward is more than a campaign. It's our commitment to the future. Through private giving, we're expanding educational opportunities in Joplin and the four-state area, strengthening programs, and investing in our students. Many MSSU graduates choose to stay in our region, becoming the healthcare professionals, educators, and business leaders who keep our community strong.
Welcome back to Newsmakers, where we're in conversation with the leadership staff at United Way of Southwest Missouri and Southeast Kansas. Back with us again is Amy DeArmond, Interim Executive Director. Thanks for sharing all that United Way does for all of us in the community. We appreciate it. So, but we are proud also to be partnering with you as well as the charity of choice for the Cardinals Caravan that comes every year to Missouri Southern. It is January 17th, folks, so mark your calendar at 11:30 in Taylor Performing Arts Center. Now, the Cardinals bring lots of prizes, and you guys get to host the raffle. Tell us about the tickets for that and how it typically works.
Okay, so we have raffle tickets that will be for sale, a ticket for $1 or 6 for $5, and those raffle tickets get you potentially some amazing prizes. The Cardinals bring everything, so we don't always know what's coming, but it's usually amazing. That could be anything from autographed posters, the foam finger, it could be just framed pictures. Tickets to the game. Everyone wants tickets to the game. So lots of great prizes and pretty good odds of winning when you purchase those tickets as well.
Yeah. So how do funds raised at events like this make a difference for the United Way?
It's a huge difference. Every dollar that we take in is another dollar that we can put towards programming. We've talked about a lot of the initiatives that we have both internally and with our funded partners. And the more that we raise, the more we can put back into the community and make those stronger outcomes for our neighbors that are in need.
Yeah. So it is an autograph event. You guys actually bring some things for folks to buy. Tell us about that.
We do. We will have a bucket of balls. So if you arrive and you don't have a baseball, you don't have an autograph book or something like that, we will have baseballs for sale for $5 and would love to help meet that need for you. And it's always so much fun to see the kids come in and just be so excited and waiting in line to get those autographs.
Yeah, and we've been lucky several times to have Fred Bird be part of the event. We can't promise that, don't know if he'll, last year he showed up, it was exciting. Do folks have to have cash? How can they pay for all of these things?
So we accept cash, we also accept debit or credit card, so pretty flexible with that.
Yeah, just one more way to support the United Way, which supports our community. So wonderful stuff. Talk to us about other partnerships you might have within the community, like when it comes to fundraisers. We know you do your campaign, but are there other events that might be able to support the United Way?
We are always looking for partnerships. We have a lot of programs that we work with Freeman on different things that we do, and we are looking to expand out the opportunities to go alongside businesses and individuals with either donations of time, money, or resources. Yeah. So always feel free to reach out to us, and we would be happy to talk about those opportunities.
And then if there is a charity that wants to be part of your organization, how do they get on board and become kind of a partner?
A couple different ways. So the Care Partner Network, we are always looking for the next level of organization that it makes sense to be a part of that activity. And then when it comes to funded partners, there's parameters that are set by the board, and we have an application process. So we would be happy to talk to anyone about that as well.
Sounds great. All right. Amy DeArmond, thank you so much for sharing all this great information. Appreciate you being here. That wraps up this edition of Newsmakers. Check out all the opportunities to help agencies that support our community through the United Way at their website, www.unitedwaymocan.org. Thanks to our guests, and thank you for watching Newsmakers.